My name is Anthony Alvarez. I'm a Macro University trainer, and presenting with me today is Jesse Smith. He's going to be our technical support supervisor at McElroy. And our presentation topic today is going to be upping your maintenance game. In specific, this is going to be more geared toward the polypropylene side of things. Okay, so thinking your spiders, your Acrobat 160s, things like that. All the equipment on the polypropylene. And the reason we wanted to talk about this topic, because you guys have done such a great job of getting a bunch of McElroy equipment out there into the field on that polypropylene side as that market has emerged. As we know, that market, isn't. So as we know, the polypropylene side of things is an emerging market, right? So kind of on our polyethylene side, I know me and Jesse have talked about this a lot as we were coming up with this presentation, but on the polyethylene side, you guys probably know Formate. There's a lot of equipment out there that, you guys are used to servicing those big Mega Max, T900s, or whatever they are. And on the polypropylene side of things, you might be just a little bit behind on that side as far as the maintenance and repair of equipment goes. Okay, so people aren't necessarily as used to that. So what we wanted to do this year, we wanted to take advantage of that, and we wanted to show you guys in a presentation a lot of the resources that McElroy provides you with, so you can more easily maintain and repair your equipment when it's either out there on the job site, in the field, or back home at your own shop. So we wanted to lay out some of those resources and kind of show you where you guys can go to complete tasks kind of A to Z to help yourself out and to better serve those markets that you find yourself in out there in the field. Okay, so following with the theme of infusion this year, okay, we've kind of got a racing theme going on this year. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you around the track here, and we're going to lay out some of the topics that we're going to talk about as we go throughout this presentation. Okay, so Jesse, starting from our start line here, we'll start down our track. We'll go into turn one. We're going to talk about McElroy University first. Okay, they've been doing training since 1981, so they've been doing it for a little while now. So you're in good hands with McElroy University. Going into turn two, we're going to have our technical services department. Jesse's going to be able to talk with you very in depth on that, as he has a long history with our tech service department. Going into turn three, we're going to have our open resources. Whenever we talk about open resources, kind of think about this as all the tools that McElroy gives you just pretty much out there on the McElroy website that can really help you find yourself in a pinch when it comes to needing parts or whatever it is. Going into turn four, we're going to have channel partner resources, and Jesse's going to walk you through this. This is going to be a more deeper dive into the distributor login. If you have access to that, if you're a McElroy distributor rep, whatever it is, you can go into this side of things and gain some additional knowledge when it comes to the maintenance and repair side of things. And then, of course, last but not least, we've got the McElroy distribution network. Now, you might be thinking, well, the McElroy distribution network, aren't those my competitors in the marketplace? When it comes to maintenance and repair on the polypropylene side, you can really think of those other distributors, reps inside of your market as as your friends who can help you repair and maintain your specific piece of equipment. Okay, so those are going to be the 5 resources that we're going to talk about. But Jesse, we can't just walk around the racetrack at INFUSION23, right? We got to have some sort of car to go around the racetrack, right? Now, we didn't just pick anyone to drive our car. Got him in the back right now. By unanimous decision, we had to take a vote who had the best NASCAR name at McElroy, okay? And Robbie Phillips Jr. by far. Hands down, no one else even got a vote, okay? So we got a driver with a good name. I don't know about experience in racing, but we got one with a good name. And Jesse, what would we call our McElroy stock car if we had to name it based off what we've touched on so far?
I think if I had to name that car, I would have to call it the McElroy University Tech Support Open Resources, Closure Resources, Distributor Network, Chevrolet.
That's pretty good. Okay, that's pretty good. It doesn't really roll off the tongue. There's only 2 problems with it. One, we're going to change it to Ford. We're Ford guys around here, but we're going to change it to the McElroy Advantage car. Okay, it's gonna be a little easier for us to roll off the tongue. So let's hop inside the McElroy Advantage car with Robbie Phillips Jr. and we'll go around the track and we'll talk about some of those different resources that we just touched on. So once again, those different resources will be at McElroy University, tech support, channel partner resources, open resources, and our wonderful distributor network. Okay. There we go. So coming up first, we've got McElroy University. Okay. Main thing that we want, you see a lot of folks up on the screen here. Main thing that we want to touch on with McElroy University is over the past even over the past year or two, there's been a big investment in human capital when it comes to Macro University, especially when it comes to the maintenance and repair side. As we'll go across the list here, kind of left to right. Paul Brodsky, he's going to be our Macro University manager. He's going to be the guy who you do the scheduling with. If you need to get into our learning management system or get a date to come to Tulsa for a hands-on course, he'll be the one who kind of schedules that to get you to Tulsa. Matt Hannigan, if you guys have been around McElroy long enough, you've probably ran into Matt. He's here today. He's been inside of Macro University for a few years now. He's more of our electrical troubleshooting guy. He's got a background as a journeyman electrician, so he's a great asset to have inside of those maintenance and repair courses. Billy Knatzer says CAN systems below him. You might be asking, well, what exactly is a CAN system? If you guys have worked with one of the new I-Series machines, that's kind of the electrical operating system that it goes off of. Kind of think of an electrical operating system like a new F-150 when it comes off the production line, has a CAN-based system on it. Billy Knatzer has been running his own automotive shop for 20 plus years in the Tulsa area, so he has a lot of experience in that field when it comes to troubleshooting and diagnosing electrical issues there. Adam Hughes, he's going to be, we hired Adam probably 6-7 months ago. He's going to be helping us more on the mechanical side when it comes to the maintenance and repair courses, and he's been a diesel technician for 10 plus years, I believe, doing diesel repair work, things like that. So over the past 2-3 years, Macro University has really added a lot of capital to assist in these maintenance and repair classes, not only with just throwing people at it, but getting experienced people in the right place to really make a difference when you come in for a maintenance and repair course. And then, of course, as we go down the line, we have Bryce Shook. He's going to be more on our HCP operations side of things, so not as much into the troubleshooting and repair side of things, but nonetheless, that's another piece that we've added over the past 7 or 8 months. You've got myself, who's going to be mostly in charge of all the polypropylene training, more operations focused once again, so not as much on the troubleshooting repair side. And then we've got Walter Ensign, who is our e-learning and instructional design specialist. He's going to be the guy who's making all of our online content that goes into our learning management system and on YouTube, wherever it may be. He's also going for his PhD, but I already told him I'm not calling him that. I'm not letting Walter do that. Okay, so more specific, how can Macro University help you when it comes to maintenance and repair? Now that you know we have the right people in place, Macro University can do custom maintenance and repair courses, okay? And what exactly does that mean? Well, let's say I've got a few pieces of equipment that I see every day. Maybe I've got a Spider Acrobat 160. That's all I've got in my shop, right? Macro University can do courses specific to those pieces of equipment. You don't have to come through and get training on how to maintain or repair the whole line of equipment for Macro. You can do courses that are specific to the stuff that you see day in and day out in your shop or out there in the field. They can also do, see it up there in quotations, right on time trading. That's a quote from our manager, Paul Brodsky. He is going to quote that as, let's say, you're going to rent out a few of your machines in the next few weeks, and the people you're renting them to might not be the most gentle on the pieces of equipment, right? You know they're going to come back and probably a little bit worse for you. You're probably going to have to do some maintenance and repair on them. We can try to work with you to move schedules around to get you guys either down to Tulsa or inside of our learning management system, so you do get exposed to that knowledge. So when that equipment does come back, you have a base concept or base knowledge of how to maintain and repair that equipment once it finally gets back from the job site. Introduction to troubleshooting. So, whether you've got, a tech that is very new to troubleshooting pieces of equipment, or you've got someone who's been doing it for the past 20 years, based off the human capital that we've added inside of Macro University over the past few years, we have the ability to put on classes at a very introductory level. So, teaching nuts, bolts, screws, things like that, and starting someone off on a real basic introductory level. Or if you've got someone who's been doing it, like I said, for a really long time, we can put on that advanced diagnostic course as well, based off the people inside MacU right now. And then last but certainly not least, we've got our learning management system. This is going to be great because, traditionally, our learning management system, this is kind of what launched Macro University into the 21st century a little bit, especially over the past 5 or 6 years. They've really put an emphasis on it. The learning management system is going to allow you to take classes without having to come to Tulsa, pretty much. So you're going to be able to get in there, you're going to be able to access courses that are specific to the pieces of equipment that you have, and you're going to be able to do that at your own pace. So if I've got 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon, you can knock that out at your own pace. And then it's always going to be available for review. So if you learn something, we all know you come to class, you learn something, you don't use it for 3 months, and then you forget it. Never been there before, right? The LMS you have that in fruition. So you can always come back later, take a look at it, refresh your memory while you're standing in front of the machine, and then apply the knowledge from there. So, Jesse, value added for the tech training, whenever we're selecting a candidate, let's say I'm trying to pick someone out of a group who's going to help me work and maintain my pieces of macro equipment. What's the experience level I should be looking for, availability, capacity? What are the things that would qualify someone to really have the biggest impact when they're working on macro equipment?
Thanks, and it depends. We'll back up just a bit before we get to that. So, around the room, I see people who have been servicing, working on macro equipment for a long time. I see some folks that focus a lot on HDPE.
You don't have to have a distributor log in, you don't have to have anything like that. As long as you have access to the internet, you're going to be able to find everything that I'm going to cover in these next few slides. And Macroid does an amazing job of putting pretty much everything short of a trade secret out on the website, so you're gonna be able to access it and complete tasks kind of A to Z, without having to rely on us so much. Even with tech support's added hours, whatever it is, I've talked to a lot of you guys. Machines don't always go down in between 9 and 5, right? Sometimes on a weekend, night before a holiday, Christmas morning, whatever it is. So having the knowledge of how these open resources work is really going to add to your maneuverability, and it's going to really allow you guys to better service the marketplace by being able to complete tasks such as finding parts, finding pricing, finding specs, all that kind of stuff, kind of on your own. That way you can get answers back to customers that much quicker, right? Hal, I'm not looking at you. Thanks. All right, so some of the resources that I'm talking about as we go onto the website here. This is just the Acrobat 160 page as an example. This is going to be a spot where it's going to give you all the specs on that specific machine, whether it's talking about the carriage, HPU. In this specific example, I have the hydraulic power unit popped up here. But this is all things that if you're a service tech and you're needing to know some basic information right off the bat, this is a great spot where you can go to find some information kind of at a glance. So you're going to be able to find, weight of the hydraulic power unit, your different system pressures, your hydraulic reservoir capacity, type of plug that's on the unit, minimum power requirements. All of these things you can find them kind of at a blink of an eye here on the spec page. And if you're looking for these basic things, you don't have to dive much deeper than that. You don't have to fly into the parts finder and go diving deeper than the manual or anything like that. These are all given to you by Macroid, kind of right off the top. Okay, so these are all great resources right here. If you go to the bottom of all of the pages for all the machines, whether it's a Spider, SmartFab, Acrobat 160, whatever it is, we always have common parts and accessories at the bottom. Some of them are consumables, some of them are if you just want an extra replacement laying around. So you can kind of think like facer blades are going to be found down here, so whenever those wear out, you don't have to go searching too far for those. Those are just right on the common replacement screen. And then of course we've got other components up here as well. Maybe you need an HPU with that higher system pressure, whatever it is. You can find that at a glance. And then small stuff like inserts too. Lord knows a contractor's never lost a single insert before and returned you a few short, right? So you can find all those common quick replacement type stuff right here on all the model pages. This one, even though the polypropylene line doesn't have as large an array of facer blades as the polyethylene line does, nonetheless this is a pretty cool tool that Macroid provides. So this is something that, let's just say I have a facer blade in my hand and it's got no designation as to what it belongs to, right? You can go onto the McElroy website, onto the facer blade finder, input the width, the height, and the number of bolt holes on the facer, and it will tell you what machine and what facer that facer blade belongs to, which is pretty cool. And as the polypropylene line grows, especially with the insert package for the quick fit and all that kind of stuff, you're going to have more and more facer blades coming into play. So this is something that you might find yourself using in the future if you are that technician that's supporting and maintaining that equipment. And then last but certainly not least, as you go into all of McElroy equipment, whether you've got the huge Trackstar 900 machines or these Acrobats, you can go into the parts finder on the website and you're going to be able to order every single nut, bolt, and screw on that machine that you can kind of see in this breakdown right here where it's got the exploded view. And then it's even going to be nice enough to give you a component number to order, a quantity, and then a price correlated with it. Okay? So not only do you get kind of that exploded mechanical breakdown of it, but you're also going to get any hydraulic schematics that come along with the machine. So if you've got a hydraulic issue that you're attempting to troubleshoot, that's going to be something you can find on the parts finder as well. And then we're going to give you hydraulic, we might as well give you electrical too. So you get electrical schematics that you can use to troubleshoot and diagnose whatever situation you may run into on the piece of equipment that you have in front of you. And most of the time, Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, if someone calls up tech support and they're having an electrical issue, whatever it is, you guys are going to walk them through this exact same diagram right here to kind of help them get down to the source of the issue. Right?
That is correct, sir.
So Jesse, that's open resources. Tell us a little bit about our channel partner resources up here.
Okay, so yeah, the difference is everything Anthony just talked about is available through our public website. So anybody can get to that. The things I'm going to talk about next are only available to those of you that have a login to what we call our distributor site. Okay, so channel partners can get to these. Some of the information that you'll find here, like you can share it out. You could share it out, but it's not accessible to anyone. Okay, so the first step to getting to these resources is you've got to have a login. So if you think you should have access to this and don't have a login, give us a call, let us know, and we'll track that down for you, help you get access to these resources. So first step, we're going to log in. So we're going to log in as test user, whatever that password is. And we're going to put the sign in button. And it's going to take you to a page that looks like this. So you're probably familiar. There's a lot going on with this page. And there are some things here that can be very helpful, and I'll explain how this ties in to maintenance. The first thing we'll look at here is our order status. A lot of times we find that the same person who is doing the repair is,
What do I mean?
yeah, it's okay, we'll fix it. The same person who's doing the repair is also ordering the parts, making sure that order comes in, receiving it in, those kinds of things. So there's some tools here that can help you keep track of this stuff. Okay, so this top box is the order status box. What it's going to allow us to do is look at information about specific orders over the last 6 months, any open orders for a specific part number, or anything that has recently been shipped and might be in transit. Okay, so if I'm trying to build a quote for somebody or understand when I can commit this machine to go back out on the next job, that's valuable information for me to be able to go find and communicate correctly with my customers and plan accordingly for repair times. So this tool is something that you can get to and use for that. The next thing we'll look at is price search. Okay? Similar but different. What the price search allows you to do is select a specific part number and then search for it, and then it's going to give you price and availability. Okay? So sometimes you'll run into parts here that may not be priced and look like they're not available. This is when sometimes you pick up the phone and you're calling trying to figure it out. We're all busy. There's a quick fix to this if you need to submit that inquiry and move on down the road to something else. You can use this click to inquire button. And what that does is sends an automatic message to our team, inside sales team, and people who, some folks on the engineering side who look at, can we put price on this, and can it be ordered? is this even the right thing to be ordering? Sometimes we have things that are obsoleted for a reason. We don't have them priced because we want you to order an upgrade kit or something of that nature. So you can use this feature and move on down the road. You'll get a message back once that's done. Now, as always, if you have an emergency situation, you need something right now, pick up the phone, give us a call. But this is a tool that lets you hit the button and move to your next responsibility. Okay. Similarly with ship times. Okay, I'm making a quote, I need to know when I'm going to get the part so I can do the repair, get it back to my customer. There's a similar tool here with this calculate button. So if you pull a part up and it looks like this, and it says just calculate, you can click that calculate button and it will generate a date. Okay, that's going through our throughput system, and it's saying, we think this part will ship on X day. Okay, that's pretty accurate, especially if you're looking at dates that are, seem reasonable. Next week, 2 weeks. If you're seeing things that are months or sometimes years out, call. Something's wrong. Okay. Make sure you put quantities in here because quantities affect that throughput system. All right. So another tool that you can use to hopefully give you some more information when you're doing these very protocols to do that stuff. Okay. Next thing to look at here is part search. This is kind of an honorable mention. Okay, this is a tool that if you get good at using it, it will save your butt. Okay, I use it all the time for things where I am trying to figure out what part I need. And once you learn our part numbering system, which is something you'll learn through some of the training that we do, you can put in partial parts of part numbers. So like I know I'm looking for a pump. All our pumps start with the same prefix. Okay, so I can put in that prefix and then filter through and see what different options I have. Okay, so it's a quicker way to get to parts you need without having to go into a parts finder and that kind of thing. So valuable tool to learn how to use. The other thing I use it for all the time is this description search. Mostly for like parts for parts. Because microwave is manufactured, we make a lot of stuff. We also buy a lot of stuff that goes into the products that we make. And sometimes those assemblies that we buy have parts that you'll need as replacement parts that aren't ours. It's an engine part or a generator part or a pump part or something of that nature. If you know the part number of, let's say, the engine, you can put that into the description search and then it'll spit out all the potential parts that would apply to that part number. Okay, so I know this is probably prevalent here, but engine's the easiest example. Think alternator, air filter, dipstick, things of that nature. MDA 121, Chad's shaking his head. He knows what I'm talking about. Put that in there, and it's going to spit out every part we have available for an MDA 121. So it can be a valuable tool when you're trying to search for some of these more obscure parts. Okay. All right. Next thing to look at, we're going to talk about warranty. The term you'll hear is, we throw this around a lot, is RMA. What that really means is return materials authorization. You hear that as used as a verb. I'm going to RMA this thing. So there is a process on the site where you can request and submit these on your own. So it's quick and easy. Click on the tab at the top of the screen. It's going to take you to a screen that looks something like this. You're going to click request new RMA, and then simply fill out the page, give us a description of the problem, the part number, and then click submit. And what that does is it generates what we call a case in our queue. And then it goes first in, first out, and my team is looking at that. We look at the submission, we make sure that everything's accurate and that the part you're asking for warranty on is actually under warranty, and then we either accept it, deny it, or ask you for more information about it if necessary. So, just again, a quick way for you to punch that in and get it into the queue and then move on to something else. If you have something quick, you need something quick and fast, that's always pick up the phone, because we'll move it to the top of the list if you've got an emergency. Next thing we'll look at here is Service Center. Some of the tools on this are a little bit dated, but there's still some stuff on here that can be real valuable to us. Specifically, with this group, this is where you can get access to our one and only service manual that we've ever created. Okay? But it is for the EP800 AD HPUs, or your smaller Acrobat HPUs. And this is something that you can print out take with you, put in your toolbox or whatever. And then you've got all the schematics, all the parts list, troubleshooting guides, everything that you need for that HPU is in that manual. So kind of a one-stop shop for working on those things. And another lesser-known tool that's here, if you're working with electrical stuff, is this crimper tool to look up. Crimps are something that that folks struggle with getting right. You're having loose connections and that kind of thing. And part of it is because when we build a machine, we have a specific tool that we crimp those connections with. And if you're out there trying to do that with a pair of pliers, you're going to struggle. So all you need to know to use this tool, one, you got to be able to use the parts finder and get down to the connection that you need to crimp. You put that in the search box, and it will spit out the exact crimper that you need to make those connections. So it'll help you out with some of your electrical repairs as well. Okay. Okay, let's look at tech bullets. This is another tool that's in the same area on the website, except there's a link. Click here right at the top of the page, and it's going to take us into a list of technical bulletins. So address what technical bulletins are. We try to create technical bulletins whenever we find a trending, a repair that needs to be done, or we need to put out a troubleshooting guide, or we've got to do a retrofit, or sometimes what we call a campaign. When we found something that's going to be a warranty replacement, and we want to reach out and make sure that everything gets changed over expediently. So this is where tech bulletins live. Okay, so we'll look at example of what kind of things we have here. We'll scroll down the screen and go to tech bulletin 159, which is EP2800Q. That's your quick fit HPU. And just to give you an example of the kind of things that are here, this one is a tech bulletin that has to do with the electrical system on this HPU. So it's not something that we campaigned, but it warranted, we saw enough of it that it warranted putting a tech bulletin out. So if you experience this, you have the instructions to make the repair. So that's where that kind of stuff is. So we try to put as much of this out here as possible to help folks do maintenance in the field, both troubleshoot and make these repairs quickly and correctly. There's something like, I think we're on tech bulletin 192 right now. So like 192, so we put them out for 15 years or so. So going way back, there's a lot of information there that's really helpful. Okay. Next thing, in kind of the same spot, different tab, is kits and tooling. This is, again, similar but different. Kits and tooling comes into play when we've got a specialty tool or an upgrade kit that you might need to make your machine perform properly or to make repairs or adjustments. Think alignment kits, things like that. This is where that's going to live. I'll give you an example again. We'll go ahead and scroll down to this 831507201, and this is going to be a handle retro kit for Acrobat 315 facers. So if you're working on that facer, you want to upgrade it to the latest model. This kit was created to solve some problem that you may or may not have. If you have the problem, this is the kit you use to fix it. Okay. I'm going to pause right here and ask if anybody's got any questions or anything about tech bulletins or any stuff on this site that I've talked about so far. I know I'm getting kind of deep into the weeds on that, but I'm hoping to at least put the information out there so that you know where to go to get it. So, yes, sir.
So with the parts finder, like in the description, say there's, you work on, I'm just like a track 412, and you need a specific Kubota engine part. Will that bring up anything or no?
So the description search feature that I mentioned was, the description that's searching is the description that you would see in the parts finder in the parts list.
Okay.
So that's why I said you kind of need to understand how we write our descriptions for those parts for parts. So again, the Kubota engine, like the engine for a Trackstar 618 is an MDA 121. Every engine that we put out there starts with an MDA. Okay, so if I wanted to see all the service parts for engines, I could put MDA in that description search, and it's going to find every description that has MDA in it. And then the way that we write the description for those service parts is oil filter for MDA 121. So that's how it pulls all that stuff together. So you have to play with it a little bit and kind of, there's a little experience learning curve that goes with using that thing. Once you figure it out, it's extremely valuable.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay. Has anybody used our inspection app? You probably heard it talked about a little bit. Okay, I was kind of hoping nobody would raise their hand because this is a tool that has become really valuable on our polyethylene side. But virtually no one is using it in the polypropylene side. So this is a tool that we developed over the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now. It started out as a tool to satisfy some requirements, really in the natural gas market. But as it's grown and evolved, it's become a really valuable tool to help you kind of help everybody get on the same page with how they conduct inspections and what kinds of things are a pass or a fail, what needs to be fixed now, what can wait, those kinds of things. So we'll talk a little bit about how this works. And also mention that there's a whole breakout on this tomorrow afternoon. So the last breakout, I think it's in that room next door tomorrow. So if this interests you, I highly recommend going to look at it, because I'm just touching the wave top here of what this tool is. So what this app allows you to do, this program allows you to do, is have tool-specific surveys that we create. So for every piece of equipment, there's a different survey, and it's check by check by check by check. You can also create custom surveys. So if you want to add questions to the surveys that we created to better fit your needs for your fleet, you can do that. You can also create completely custom surveys on your own from scratch. So it doesn't have to be for macro equipment. It could be for anything that you have or use or service. So pretty valuable in that regard. The survey question is one of our most valuable resources.
Right, yeah, so we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier when it comes to the distributor network, and the fact that, a lot of people are kind of under this guise, well, the people inside the macro distributor network are almost kind of viewed as my competitors, right? Well, when it comes to maintenance and repair of your equipment, if you don't have that technician who's on board that can really do those repairs or whatever it is for you, the distributor locator or the distributor network is going to be your best friend, right? If you've got a machine in front of you that needs repair, there are dedicated people around the U.S. It doesn't have to be just in your area that you can send your pieces of equipment to, and they will service that equipment for you and then send it back to you, and they can even provide a piece of equipment while your machine is being repaired and diagnosed, whatever it is. So those people are definitely out there. So don't feel like you're kind of out there on an island by yourself. If you've got a piece of equipment that's down, you can't use it for the moment, there are people who are willing to help you get that repaired and provide you with a machine in the meantime. At INFUSION23, where we are this week, provides a really unique opportunity for everyone in the room, and the fact that those people who will maintain your equipment and will repair your equipment are here in this building or at the resort right now. So after this presentation, come find me, come find Jeff Turner, and we will definitely love to make those connections and help you guys network and find those people in your area, as close to you as we can get you, or someone else around the country who will take your equipment, maintain it, repair it for you, and help you better service your marketplace when it comes to that. And then of course, the distributor locator, that's just a snippet off our website. That's another tool that you can kind of find out there on the open resources type of tab anyway. You just go in there, type in, flip it over to the mechanical HVAC, select your region, select your state, and then it's going to give you someone who's in your vicinity that can help you maintain and repair your equipment.
I just want to point out that the reason that we kind of point this out at the end, and like Anthony said, is in our polypropylene market and for microwave tools, there are folks operating at a lot of different levels. Some are fully capable of doing their own maintenance. Some have just got their foot in the door and are going to need some help. And we help as much as we can. We just want to point out that there are folks out there that aren't your competition who are willing to work on and help you work on the equipment. Some of them are sitting in the room right now. I won't say who they are. And then I won't. But that's out there.
All right, so let's get our recap going here. Finally crossed the finish line. Robbie didn't kill us in the stock car in the microwave advantage. We made it all the way back. Okay, so here are some of the things to touch on as we conclude our presentation here. When it comes to the training, Macro University is in the 21st century now. You don't have to fly out to Tulsa to get a maintenance and repair course hands-on. Even though we love having people in Tulsa, we still do that. But you can do complete online LMS, self-paced type of modules, and retain that information and pull it up whenever you want later down the road. No unused tools and resources available. I mean, we just went through for probably 20, 30 minutes that open resources, the channel partner resources. McElroy puts so much time and effort into giving you all the information you need to, you know, whether it's finding parts, even all the way down to Jesse pulled up the crimper tool. I mean, you guys might be thinking, well, when am I going to need the crimper tool, whatever it is. That's more, to me, that's almost more of an example of look how much information is out there that's accessible to you guys, and you know, you're going to be able to find exactly what you need when you need it. And then building relationships with maintenance providers, like we said, unique opportunity at INFUSION23 this year and years moving forward. You don't have that technician who can help you work on your equipment, or someone in your area who can assist you in maintaining and repairing your equipment. We can definitely find you someone who can help you with that. Okay, Hal, I'm not looking at you. You're laughing at me right now. So, but we can definitely help you build those relationships, and we would love to do that. So after this presentation, come find me, Jeff, whoever it is, and we can point you guys in the right direction. All right. Are there any questions? Short of the first round of questions. Right here.
I know there was a breakout session on it, but talking about the inspection act.
Yep.
So I'm assuming I'll put in a serial number for the machine I'm looking at, right? Let's say I fail it on a phaser attachment arm for polyethylene machine. Will it bring up that part number, or do I still have to go? You said I could create a parts list.
Right.
I'll still have to know, I'll put the part number in, or will it bring up the part number for that specific part?
I don't know if it pulls up the part number immediately.
You put the part number.
Okay, I figured so.
It's not doing the part search for you. It's allowing you to not have to go to that 2 times, right? So that way you have one document that has the failure and the part required to fix it, rather than you have this inspection and then, oh, now I got to go over here and build this other document that also has, here's the thing that's broken, here's the thing that fixes
I think
it.
we've all done it, right? You go to the piece of equipment, I need this part, and this part, and at the end you wind up with a hand scribbled list, and it might be one number off and missing a 0, whatever it is.
It's an online or a computer version of the checklist.
Yes.
Okay, that's my question. Thanks.
So if you've been around long enough and done certified rental fleet, and you remember the old CMR checklist,
Right.
we started these checklists with those.
Okay.
And just to be totally straightforward about it, those things they're ancient. They're pretty outdated. So the stuff that's on the inspection app, that's where everything's moving to. So it's going to get to the point where CMR is done through the inspection app. Everything's going that way. The old stuff's going that way. And it's a tool that I think everybody's going to like. It's actually so definitely go check out Jason tomorrow. I think
Yeah,
this
we
is
will.
the last one of the day. So yeah, I think there's some in the room. I don't know. I think Chad's in the back now. Chad's
I've
been
done
using it.
I've done a
So,
couple of them. I haven't done a whole bunch of them. But
yeah, so
I've used
if
it.
there's anybody else who's used it and has an opinion about it, feel free to share.
Anybody else? All right. Thank you guys very much for coming to our breakout, and enjoy the rest of the